This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Yep. So at 11 o'clock, this is the meeting of the Ad Hoc Grant Search Committee, and we have our committee, Kate and Diana here, and then Mark and Ellen from the Greenway Committee joining in. Don't see anybody out there for open time for the public, and we'll hold off on approval of minutes until the end and jump right into some business. So why don't we turn it over to Mark or Ellen in terms of how you'd like to proceed?
So if it's okay, if everyone got the link, I hope, to the two documents, the grant application and the spreadsheet, and which includes a budget and the timeline. So I did get some stuff back from Alex, so I added some stuff after Caitlin and Diana had reviewed it, so I apologize, but I just got it half an hour ago. So there's some things that Diane and
you can share, Mark. Mark, you can share your screen if you want to put it up.
Actually, I can't. I can't really do that just because the way I'm on the iPad. My computer doesn't have a microphone.
I can put mine up. I think I have it.
So there's a couple things that are changed from before. One is Mass DOT is probably slowing the process down, so we have an uncertain timeline. So we're sort of assuming that on the optimal side, but sort of putting wording in there saying if Mass DOT process is slow, it may take longer. So just be aware, we're trying to find that wording. And the second is Alex Fagnan had recommended considering putting money in for looking for a parking space near Route 10. So I added a small amount of money for that and wording for that. This group and the select board can decide whether we should do that or not, but that's sort of different than what we had before. And the total budget that was requested by Time Buy was $150,000 for them. So the budget and wording is working around that. Okay. So I just want to put those out there.
Okay. And I think, Mark, you just so everybody can be on the same page. So I think we were just talking that it looked like Mass DOT was a little bit on the slower end in terms of their processes to get through the review of the 25% plan that Tie-in Bond is working on. And we weren't sure whether it made sense to apply, but in retrospect, after talking to folks at Mass Trails, Ed had reached out to Amanda Lewis, and it does make sense to at least keep our name in there and keep on the radar screen. You know, whether we get anything or not, at least we won't have had a blank year of not asking.
And it sounds like we'll get something. The question is how much, but it just sort of keep us in the process. But it was the internal review process was slow, so they couldn't even submit the 25% plan until later than expected, possibly.
Okay, so they can't submit it until later. Is that it? Until
the internal review is completed, and that's what's slowing it down.
Okay, and that's at DOT level. Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Good. So I see Kate and Diana have already been able to get in and do a couple of comments here, and so I don't know that we need to go through everything. Is there something that was of concern, Diana, just that that struck you? I'm going to see if I can find your
really,
comment
here. I didn't, I figured there are other line editors involved, so I didn't go deep in that regard. I just noticed the thing about the hill towns confused me. Okay. Because Belchertown's on one side of the Connecticut River, and the hill towns, as what we normally refer to the hill towns, are on the other side, like Goshen, Chesterfield. I guess Williamsburg technically could be, and I think the rail trail goes to there, but they're not at the same end. And the way it's phrased, it says at one end to Connecticut on the other end.
It's a good point.
Yeah. You can just drop that and just leave with
from Belchertown. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So
and the other thing I pointed out may just be my lack of information, but so much of it is the same, correct, as the grant that we submitted before. So should we say somewhere why what we received before wasn't enough, where we fell short, or have you already addressed that and I missed it?
I think the big thing is they were aware that this was to get us a certain point in the process, not to complete it. When they approved the money, the timeline sort of said that fairly. I think they're aware of that.
All right.
Mhm. So then the new timeline would show what we're maybe more what we're asking for. But I think we had to talk a little bit about the timeline in a piece of the narrative as well, right?
Yes, and I updated that with stuff that Alex just sent me half an hour ago, so I can show you that.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Can I start a couple things at the top that I want to make sure?
Yeah.
Because Ed is not going to be there, I put Chris, you and the town administrator as the contact people, both for a name and an email.
Right.
Does that seem correct?
I'll have to look at what we did on the last one. I don't know if we had both of us or one of us.
Oh, no,
yeah.
It was Ed Gibson, but again, things are unknown, so I changed that. Decide how it should be worded.
Right. I mean, yeah, they want an actual name. Okay, well, we've made a selection for a town administrator, and we just have to negotiate the contract. But with a little bit of luck, I think we have our person, a guy named Scott Zabek.
Okay.
But before we, this is due in February 1st, right?
Yes.
Okay, he won't be on by then, but I'll double check with Ed on that. It might just be my name instead of anybody else, because even a new person coming on, this could easily get lost in his email without, knowing much about it yet. So I'll check that with Ed. Yeah. Good point.
So the other point that the budget stuff, I don't know who all, I put a total of 169,380. This is on 2.4. The grant request was for 132,000, and that was going to be in kind of 14,380, which was slightly less than last year because we put in for printing and stuff of over 2,000. I decreased that to 1,000, and but otherwise the time-wise it was the same, and that the CPC funding would be 23,000, and that gives us a 78%, or 22% match, which is slightly above, but a lot of that's in kind. But we can look at that in the budget, just to be aware that comes from the spreadsheet, and you can look at that. Okay,
so we're only going to be asking for 132, actually.
Correct, if we agree that what's on the budget.
Okay, and we do have, and this will be a task I think I mentioned to you, we had, because of the way Mass Trails had awarded these grants, remember we were invited to put in 2 grants in 1 year, and then they didn't award the full amount and whatever. We think, Ed and I think, and I'm pretty sure, we have a little bit extra that we got approved for CPC as our match. So we just have to sit down with Bradley probably and go through the math and just double check what's been used out of the CPC money for our match thus far, and if we have any extra right there. So we may need the 23, or we may not need all of that too. So we'll double check that for sure.
Again, we want to put this in that will be matched. The question is what we put in for additional CPC funding in the May town meeting, right?
Right, but what I'm saying is we may have enough in the bank with CPC. We may not have to go to town meeting for it. Okay, so there's wording after that. Town will anticipate in May 24th. So that part may be eliminated, you're saying? Yeah, I'll just highlight it so we have it. Yeah. Okay. Find a something here. I'll note myself here. Where are we here? Just put it in some other weird color so I can recognize it. Okay. Yeah. So we'll just check that. But so we might actually have enough already banked up with CPC, but we'll see. So I'm going to get rid of the Hill Towns part of it. Okay. Is that okay? Sure. Mm-hmm. And then in 2.1 above, getting rid of the Hill Towns, but Caitlin had suggested different wording, and I think hers is better. So we'd eliminate the first 2 paragraphs and use hers, which is in purple, if people are okay with that. The alternative here? Yeah. Yeah. And I will get rid of Hill Towns there, okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you okay if I do that? Just not to confuse. Sure. Yeah. No. Yeah. You can do that. Okay. Do that later on. Whatever you want to do. Yep. I'll just get rid of the 2 paragraphs now and keep hers. That's okay. Okay.
I just shortened it because it was more than 3 or 4 sentences, and I really did want to like focus on how it's because this is for like media too. So I wanted to, minimize the negative, like the things that might slow this project down, and try to keep it really focused on, what improvements would be made if they awarded the project.
So yeah, and I like your wording better. Thank you.
And you still got hill towns in the rewording part of it.
Whoops.
The last sentence. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and you want to get rid of alternative up at the top.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you. I think that's done now.
Okay. So, and then when we say finalize the design process, so this gets us to the 100% or no?
Well, I debate on the wording this. My guess is that we're going to need another grant next year or the following year.
You want to say continue?
That's why I left it in yellow.
Yeah.
You want to say continue the design process?
Move
I think
towards
it's fine to say
finalization.
continue.
How about move towards finalization?
Yeah.
How about just to finish?
Yeah. Or if we understood what percentage we're aiming for, I guess I'm confused as to how DOT counts these percentage parts, the 25% plan, the 50% plan, the 75% plan.
Yeah.
So
I think first of all,
I don't know where we are.
They don't have a 50% plan requirement, according to Alex, and it sounds like the 25% plan is actually about 65 to 70% of the actual work. So it's a confusing thing.
Yeah.
So move towards finalization of the design. Is that okay with people?
There's technically no S on toward, but
I will get rid of it.
Good. And
Thank
then
you.
I see you have the 3 mile highlighted. We keep calling it different figures. What do we want to call it?
We originally had it at 3.5 miles. We've been corrected. It's probably 3.14. So we just sort of changed it to over 3 miles. It was a change from the original application.
Okay. Where did we ever get 3.5?
It came from the original project, the plan, the report for the town.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway. All right. Yeah. So whatever's good there. All right. We can run through anything else here. I'll just scroll down. So just tell us a little bit about the equestrians. You had that highlighted.
I had spoken to you briefly. We thought the people who own Grindstone Farm were going to want an equestrian path, and when we've spoken with them, they're clear they do not. We've spoken to other people who own horse farms, and they said it's really a dangerous thing to have. So the feeling is that we need to get information to Ty and Bond to decide if we're going to do that soon, so that they can include the right information in the 25% plan, because it affects a lot of issues, because it has to be wider. There's right-of-way issues. And my gut feeling is we probably shouldn't have equestrians included, but to do that formally, I think we need to get a letter from Grindstone Farm that the committee needs to vote on, and then the select board needs to make a final decision. But I think for this grant process, we're not going to have that finalized, so we should leave it in for now. But we may end up dropping the equestrian part of it as a goal for the Greenway.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
But leaving the wording in for now, since we won't have a decision made by February 1st. And
that thought had been in there in that original design report way back when. I mean, there was a whole description of that. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, they're the biggest horse farm on the path, I think. So I would think that they would need to have a say in it. I agree. Getting something in writing would be best. Yep. Okay. What else is in yellow we got here?
There's minor wording changes in 211, which I think is
okay. And we have a new DOT number, and all of this is a couple of new numbers in there, right? I think. Yeah.
Yes, we did that.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I'm just going to keep on scrolling here. Most of this is very much the same. Yeah. So we've got our new numbers here. Perfect. Yeah.
So 3.2 is, I don't know if you've gotten down that far.
Coming. Yep.
Is the details of that have changed about tasks to be completed.
Right.
And this is stuff that I just got at 10 30 or so today. That sort of, I've been working with Alex, and I wrote something, sent it to him, and he sent me changes. So this is his wording as, by all means, and so it's new for Caitlin and Diana, who may have reviewed this before.
Okay. Okay. So right now, the contract with Ty and Bond takes us only to the 25% plan. Is that right?
Yes. Well, there's other pieces that also, but in terms of the 20, only to the 25%.
Okay. But the environmental review had not been part of that then?
It was.
Okay.
It's sort of formal environmental process have to incur after the 25% plan is approved by the state and the public hearing happens. So, but they were going to be working on pieces of, but the formal processes can't start until after that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, I think we would trust Alex's listing of what's got to be done. I mean, I'm not sure that any of us know any better, right? So
yeah, I will read through them one more time, make sure that there's no, minor language errors, and have Ellen look at that since she does better than me. But that's his wording, cut and pasted.
Yeah. So so I guess number 6 on the bridge design. So this takes it further than what had been done before, because we already had a report on that a few years ago.
So,
around
this is the very formal report of what has to be done.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a whole different level than that was the preliminary.
Okay.
So do you want both of those introductory sentences now, or just one?
I'm sorry,
the introductory sentences with the one has a colon and one is missing a colon. Do you need both of those now?
I think the second sentence can be
I don't know if you need that. The extension of the contractor, you mean?
Yeah, so you want to eliminate that?
I think you could. I mean, because what we're talking about is, the steps that that have to get done. Yes. They're not going to care who does them, I don't think. Yeah. I
will eliminate that.
Yeah. I think the steps are probably more important. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So in that section, I'm sorry?
We can renumber the ones that you've deleted, number 5 and number 10.
Yep. I'll clean that up.
There'll only be 8.
So below that yellow section, there's some an area that I added to address, adding $5,000 to do preliminary work to look for a parking area in the south end near Route 10.
Yeah.
Alex said we can do possible funding for that. I put in wording, and below that in dark green, Ellen suggested different wording, which I think is better. So if you just look at what's called listed the alternative and look at that as the first round, because I think she did a better job.
Okay. Do you want to look at any of this yellow up above here, or
that's all part of what Alex. So the whole yellow part above that is what Alex said to add. So then it gets to my wording, and then it's something that's highlighted in background green, which is, I think, the better wording for.
Gotcha.
Get rid of the paragraph above if people are comfortable with that.
Okay.
Will you be limited with the online format in length, or?
The only limitation, I think, is there's no more than 25 megabytes of attachments that you can provide.
Okay.
If I remember.
Yeah, there might have been one other question where we had some limitations, but it wasn't too much. I'd have to go back and look at last year. But yeah. So, unfortunately, okay.
So this
yeah.
I wonder if you might say in there that such concerns were raised at the public meeting or something.
I did that in the paragraph above, and
okay.
And I thought that was a good idea.
Yeah, that's fine. I was just trying to make it as short as possible, but that's fine.
So
I like that. I agree with Diana that it's good to bring that up, though, because it shows that you're, soliciting public input.
Yeah.
So the first
and why we're, asking for more.
So you see where it says
purple area above sort of addresses that. I don't know if we want to.
You see where it says, excuse me, the addition, oops.
Too far? Sorry.
That section right there, the first sentence that Chris is highlighting.
Yeah, to address the major concerns. Yeah, we could copy that down in here.
If you just go down to where it says to address the safety concerns raised at the public meeting on November 10th, including poor visibility and inadequate parking.
Yes, that works.
So at the end of concerns that raised
at the public meeting, comma, right?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay. So I'm going to get rid of alternative.
Yeah.
Cross out what's above it.
So do we need a comma, Diana? Maybe we don't. Sorry.
Where?
After public meeting, I said comma.
Yes, you do, because that's a part of it.
And I'm going to get rid of the paragraph above. Is that okay?
So this is, in that one, yeah, it's fine. You were talking about purchasing a piece of land there, whereas this is just adding a small parcel of land. So, none of this funding would go to buy that land, though, right?
Yeah, this is for the preliminary work. One of the things is the federal grant money may not go to purchasing a separate parking lot.
Right.
So it may be that we're coming to the town for buying that, but this is a preliminary work of negotiating, and so that was the thought.
Wait, is that going to confuse the grantors? Does it sound like you're asking for parking lot money?
How about
the budget says that in a separate section, and that's what we're trying to say in this paragraph that we're asking for.
I would suggest adding 2 words: to be used for a study to address, or something.
Yeah, appraisal, survey, and legal costs, you think is confusing? It doesn't say purchasing.
That would come in. If the study finds that safety and whatever else is a real big issue, poor visibility, confirms that and makes a recommendation that, we think that this little square of land over here would work. That's going to be the end result of your study, right?
Well, Randall's already raised concerns about the safety there, and this came from Ty and Bond saying that they were also concerned. So I don't necessarily think we need a study. The question is, we need money to sort of do preliminary work to or set up for purchase.
So they'll understand.
Okay. Well, what you would need first, though, would be, I guess I don't know if you have to do a perk test for parking lots. Maybe you don't.
I don't think so. Yeah, they can be dirt parking lots also. So
yeah. So appraisal and survey. I mean, legal costs would not be covered by that $5,000. I doubt, but maybe.
It's to have some stuff to work towards it. It may not cover everything, and if people,
So to help move forward with. Okay. So you're really looking at the viability of acquiring a piece of land nearby to be used as a parking lot, right?
Yes.
Yes, and not only viability, but sort of saying, do we have someone who's willing to sell, and can we get an appraisal done for that, so we know how to proceed with the next step of what the purchase cost would be.
But we don't have any of that yet. Have we had a talk with the landowner or anything? Or
no, we have not.
No. So
there's 2 possible parcels, and I think part of. People okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as it's not confusing, I guess so. Yep. Okay.
So Caitlin talked about just deleting a sentence at the end of a paragraph. I agree with that, because I have troubles with the concept of demand driven.
Where are we down and further? Yeah.
Yeah. Is that okay?
I just felt like it's kind of expressed throughout all of the paragraphs, and that it didn't really take away to remove the sentence.
Mm-hmm.
People okay if I delete it?
Sure.
Sure, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
This is all the same.
There's not much change there. So minor changes of wording of, so this section is sort of new, describe the readiness. There's additional stuff that we did. So
Yeah.
when we get to the bullets, that's recent community involvement stuff.
Mhm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Ellen had a suggested wording change on this the fourth bullet. Just,
Mm-hmm.
and then get rid of sponsoring.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Yeah.
okay?
Sure, yeah.
And the second one is get rid of understanding. In yellow there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Are you putting something in lieu of sponsoring or?
No, just say, whoops, I'm sorry.
They didn't get deleted, Mark.
You're right.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to take it. I will. So, an information session. Wait, I thought I was going to take
Oh,
it.
it's kind of a half sentence. Do you want a verb in there somewhere?
No, they're all they all
Bullets.
begin with nouns. So to keep it parallel, it's fine to take out sponsoring, which is
Okay.
yeah.
But just have an information session for the Southampton Greenway.
You don't even need an, just,
Yeah.
That's right.
Just put information session
Yeah.
or public information session or something.
Good.
Yeah. Okay.
So, the activities planning process that was reviewed by Alex. Stuff done, and this next section between January and July of 24, which is under the current grant. Alex has reviewed all of that.
Nothing else coming up. Okay, here we go. Now
So
here.
the one section here is a couple people commented this part in yellow was a duplicate of 3.7 above, and I think deleting that's fine and just having a single sentence saying that look above. So Ellen's wording I think is better than mine. We both had wording in there. So the one at the bottom of just above 3.9 is probably the better wording.
Okay. Yeah. Because I don't remember noticing. Okay, did I miss it? The
last part of 3.7 talked to
where's that other one? That's the
so
same as
actually
something.
the top of it. The second paragraph under 3.7, the following community involvement activities have been completed.
Right.
There's 4 bullets.
Yep.
And I put a variation of it down in 3.8, but multiple people thought it was a unnecessary duplication. So just referencing above. People okay with that?
It's the same language, or?
It was slightly, I changed the language. Well, actually, I meant to change it. Maybe not. No, it looks like I didn't change it. It's interesting.
You still got 4 bullets, but I don't know what the internal bullets. Yeah. So maybe just verify what, anything you want to put out. Yeah. So what was what's the question we were trying to answer in this section though? What is it? Community support.
Describe community support. Is it worth including the duplication?
Well, sometimes redundancy is not bad. I don't know.
I think it makes the point that we've actually done stuff recently. So,
yeah. I mean, you might swap it out a little bit of. I mean, you could just tinker with it a little bit in terms of some of the activities the Friends of the Greenway have been involved. Planning or whatever. 5 meetings of the newly constituted Friends of Greenway have happened in the last 6 months, or just a variation, just a little bit. Your one up above is more bullet pointy. Maybe this could be a little bit more saying the same thing, or addressing the same thing, but in a narrative format a little bit.
Okay, I can do that. We don't need to tie everyone up if we want to do it that way.
So something like that. I don't think it's bad. I think the town meeting part, the public information session, I think was really a real positive, evening. And so to sort of accentuate that somehow, but I think either way, I don't think it matters, but sometimes redundancy is not bad.
Okay,
I think we were cautioned about, just not sending somebody to some other document to look at things. But with it's in the same document, I don't know that it matters. Okay,
I'll with Ellen, and I can rework that if it's okay with the rest of the committee.
Yep. Let me just go back up here. What was Kate's question here? Sorry, I'm trying to find that.
Apologies, folks. I have to drop off, but I appreciate being able to participate in the first 30 minutes.
Thanks, Kate.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining in.
All right, bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
this is something
issue was
youth.
with the redundant, I think.
So she's got here her comment about engaging the Boy Scouts, landscaping, community engagement. Can they?
She had ideas of other ways we can talk about youth involvement. So I tried to address that. So if you look in the yellow part under 311, the first line, after youth, and I think it may show up in green for people, including transportation to school period, trying to address part of what she brought up.
Not seeing it, but
it's so right after 311, the first sentence of the paragraph.
Oh yeah, yep, I see it. Yep, it was colored by the yellow. Yeah, I got it.
Yep. So if people agree with that, and then Ellen wasn't actually as comfortable. What's in a separate sort of paragraph below that, after the Greenway is constructed, the Friends of the Greenway in town will encourage the Boy Scouts and other youth to help with improvement projects and maintenance of the Greenway. The question is whether it's.
I think without talking to them and getting some level of commitment and an idea of what they might do, I'd hesitate putting that in.
Get rid of it? Okay.
I don't know, Ellen, what was your thought? Sorry.
Well, that was exactly my thought. You can't commit them to doing something like that. I'm sure they will, because they have involved young people and welcome their input. But I don't think we say that.
So I'll get rid of it.
I think so.
Yeah.
Or we can say that,
Yeah, there are other places in the document where we talk about young people being present, including this town meeting and at the public Southampton, Celebrate Southampton Day and all of that. There's mention of youth and saying that it's close enough to the school that it may help with transportation to school. I think that's adequate at this point.
This was the one new section of the grant, by the way. That's the only real new section.
This one here,
compared to last year.
Yeah. Well, and the transportation to school via, biking in general is part of the Safe Routes to School program. Just walking or biking to school. So that would be helpful. I think some of that could be there. I think, in general, there's probably, we could put in a sentence of, we will keep exploring ways to, involve youth in the community to be part of this project. Maybe there could be a mini group of the friends. It could be a youth group or something. I mean, who knows? I mean, we could just put in something like that. The high school has, work off, right? Their credit work off times. And, there's things like that they can do for community credit, or they have to do a community project or something. So there's ways to engage the youth, but I'd hesitate naming something specific until we've actually talked that out. Yeah. So I don't know, Diana, any thoughts there? I don't know.
No, sorry. I had to take a phone call.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Yeah. In this project. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Other than my
something
good
like
news
that.
is I don't earn my living by typing.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Anything else here? So So we don't have to do anything more with sending anything out to historical or all these
Not
other
at this
guys, right?
point. Not
Yeah.
at this point.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So 4.2.
What about the endangered species people?
Well, it's
They,
similar. They've been notified. We've been in communication with them, and they basically said, "Get back. Thank you. Keep us informed of your progress, and they'll be involved during the permitting process. And from there onward,
Okay.
permitting and
So
construction."
I don't know if here in the alternative, we might want to, if you have a date, just say, in whatever, September 23 or whatever, MHC notified Southampton or something. I mean, just so it looks like it's something recent. And again, it's not, we're just not repeating ourselves.
Well, this is repeat because they were notified before the 2 years ago. And there's not a need to contact them until later in the process. So
okay, well then, since we've already gotten an answer, I would take out that first thing about we've already requested. So if we've gotten an answer, I'd put in the alternative. I think
Yeah, the alternative is good.
okay, so I will get rid of the
and now it's historical and also conservation commission.
At where
So that's the mass. Okay, this is just historical part. Okay, yep. It would be more down when we get into wetland stuff that it would be
like 4.5.
there we go. I knew it was there somewhere. Yeah. Okay, there we go. I didn't scroll far enough. There we go. Okay. So communications. Okay, so this is.
And the permitting, there's a whole bunch of things that are listed in Alex's to-do list that addresses the permitting, specific steps in the permitting process. So I think it is covered above also.
Mm-hmm. So so we don't have to put none known, is that?
I'm sorry, which one are we looking at?
Under any other permits, so we've got none known on that, but you were talking about the wetland stuff up above here? I mean, again, we've notified them, we've spoken to Paulson.
Which number are you looking at?
4.8, I guess, the end of 4.8.
Okay.
So
4.10.
We've notified NEHSP of our intent to start the design.
Yeah.
We've been in contact with Paulson, but you just said that they've told us that, they will wait until we get farther in the process before they get involved. So we might allude to that somewhere. Whether it's in 8, 9, or 10, I don't know. Maybe not.
I think I've spoken with Dave Paulson from the program to make sure we proceed in a fashion that meets the NHESP process to protect endangered species. That was the purpose of that part of the sentence.
You could say permits required from MHC and NEHSP will be obtained after the design is complete, or something.
Yeah. Well, you may not add much to it.
It's fine the way it is, but
that's fine. I don't know if we have to add anymore. That's fine. And then this crazy section 5 that got me all messed up last time about
we don't
the
have to do anything. Yeah,
Thank
it doesn't
God.
apply.
It tried not to apply last time, but they were making me try to answer it in the grant, which was driving me crazy. All right. What about this accessibility guidelines? Nothing there, right?
It doesn't apply to this sort of grant.
Okay. So we'll take out,
hiking trail.
we can revise, get rid of Kate's comment there.
You want me?
Yeah, it's resolved. This will be not applicable, right? So So I'll recognize it when I come to it. I won't have to deal with this when I try to enter this stuff in. Okay. Yeah, you can just resolve her comment. Yeah.
I don't know.
And somewhere in those bullet points or something, those 3 dots.
Not sure how to get rid of hers.
The 3 dots may be there.
Okay, it looks like it got rid of. Okay.
All right, then we come on down. There's not much there. That's all the new stuff, old stuff rather. And then the same, there was nothing in 6. That didn't apply either because that was all equipment.
Correct. So you had asked about other attachments that we should consider.
Right.
So I spoke with Alex, and one is we have the PowerPoint presentation for the November 15th meeting.
Okay.
That can be attached.
Yeah.
I'll put that in this area of the. I'll get it from Alex. I think I have it, but and put it in this section so it can be easily added.
Okay.
Do we want to type that in?
Yeah.
I'll just add it if it's okay.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And he's supposed to have completed by next week the structural report on the bridges.
Okay.
And depending on when we actually put this in, that will also probably be available. So
we wouldn't need the one from 17 again.
How did that read? Yes.
You've got it here as A. We had that.
I was thinking, do you have a PDF or some, small representation of that map, that fine map of all the abutters that was at that meeting, or?
That's a good point. I will see if I do have a version, but the question is, will it fit?
Yeah. Obviously, the 15-foot one won't fit.
Yeah.
Well, I do have a PDF version of that. I just don't know how big it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So really good point. Really good point.
I'll just hop out of this right now. Okay. So I think, I think we don't have to put in all the old same stuff again. I don't think there's any need to do that. But if there's a couple of new documents from Ty and Bond, that would be great. Link to the town meeting, sure, why not?
So I think we have 3 that we will be new. That's a good.
Yeah. And then where do we want to reach out for letters of support this time? Do we want to go back to Vail S&Ps or anybody else, or? I
think just those 2. I don't know if they already know the project, so.
Yeah. Okay. I can reach out to them. I'll do that. I know their assistants, so I'll send a note off to them and see if we can get it yet again. And I'll put in this lower amount that we're asking for, just saying that we're trying to still complete the design process.
So do you want to look at the budget briefly?
Sure, we can.
The Excel sheet.
Yeah, I can do that. Hold on. Let's see, where'd that share thing go here? Share.
And what is the deadline for submitting this?
February 1st.
February 1st.
Okay.
Okay, where did the budget just go? I had it a minute ago. Hey. Okay, lost it. Where'd it go? Will it come up? Oh, there it is. There we go. Okay.
So there's in-kind, which was unchanged from last year, except that the printing, we just didn't use that much. It was over 2,000, decreased to 1,000.
Yeah.
And then there's under cost of consultants, the second area. The total, Ty and Bond thought they needed $150,000 if the other parts are on schedule. So I broke that out arbitrarily into 128 from Mass Trails, 22,000 from the town, either current or old CPC, either old CPC or new CPC funding. And then a separate section of Explorer, safe parking near Route 10, appraisal, legal, and survey costs. If you think we should reword that, we can. But it was 4,000 from Mass Trails, 1,000 from local funding, for a total of 23,000 of local money and a local actual funding, plus the in-kind of 15,000 or 14,000.
Just typo on appraisal.
Thank you. It looked weird. Okay. How do you spell that now?
AIS.
AIS. AIS appraisal.
AL.
Okay. APPR.
AI. SAL. You just have the I in the wrong place.
I'm sorry. So APPR.
AIS.
AL.
AISAL. Mm-hmm.
Nope, still don't have it right.
You can fix it later. Don't worry about it. Okay. Yeah. So the total cost, then all this adds up down at the bottom that shows that we're asking for that. This is our match. Okay. Yeah. No, I think that's fine. And then jumping over to the timeline.
I have to the exact gray box location. I'm going to review one more time with Alex. He sent me some wording of moving stuff around, but I want to have him look at it again. But
sure,
the pieces are there.
Yep. Okay. Good.
So, Chris, in the past, you've done the cutting and pasting for the grant. Are you still going to do that? Or you need me to do that, or?
No, I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I end up doing once we get it finalized into Google, I actually export it into a Word document because I don't want to be going in and out of Google Docs. So I keep it as a Word and an Excel document that I can actually, get at pretty easily here. And so that will be the plan, I think. And now you guys are going to be out of town when, you said?
Well, we're going to be up in Maine, so we'll be probably available, but the computer work is a little harder up there.
Sure. No, and so again, the deadline is the 1st, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then, so we'll take it, I'll talk to you and we'll see about our scheduling in terms of when we want to get this in. Hi, Chief. Welcome. Hi. Good. Hang in there a second. We're just finishing up on this one.
No problem.
All right.
You can reach us by email or cell phone.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And we'll have portable computers. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to try. Just looking at certainly that weekend before. Yeah. I mean, that weekend, the 20s. No, I'm in the wrong one. Hello. Looking at the wrong month. Yeah. So it's due February 1st, right? So yeah, no, I was right. The weekend of the 27th, thereabouts.
So the 3 additional things that we're going to attach, I'll type them in, but do you want me to just send you them as
send them separately as email attachments? Yeah, and I'll save them in my own files. Right.
Okay, that's great. Okay.
Yeah, because I've got a separate file of all the attachments we've ever used for the Mass Trail grant, so I just will keep a running file on those, and then I'll reach out to Senator Vilas and Rep. Pease. They kind of copy each other's letters, but so be it. And give them a little suggested wording, but they can get us a letter of support. And if those are the only 2 we want, that's fine. I think that counts for something to get them in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. All right. So just let me know when you've kind of done your final thoughts and edits, and we'll, probably Diana and I and Kate will run through it another time just to see if we see anything else as well.
Great.
Okay. But then just confirm what documents. I don't know if there's any other photos or anything, any more recent photos that you wanted to include. That could be a photo file. But that all has to be I think multiple photos in one file as a PDF.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to look at, I'm not sure if anything's better than what we had.
Yeah.
before.
I don't know when they went out and did their surveying, if there was anything better.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Great.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you very
We'll
much.
let you guys go and we'll take on the next one.
Have a great trip.
Thank you.
Thank you very
guys.
much.
Oh, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye. All right. Well, hi there. So, hello. So we've got former Chief Russ Anderson. And Chief, you remind me, you were Chief in Southwick?
Southwick and in Granby, Mass.
Granby.
Well.
There we go. Perfect. Okay. And so we have Diana Fetterman, who's one of our grant team here, and one of our other people had to drop off for another meeting. So it's just the 2 of us for right now.
Hi, Diana.
Ed Gibson, or the town administrator in the future too, would be an ex officio member just to be involved in just whatever is being proposed for grants. But and
Sure.
I don't know if Chief Fasoli is going to join us or not, but I just wanted to have a chance to have you come in on this and just tell us a little bit about what's going on. I did forward the bit of the narrative that you've already worked on, and this is a bit unusual, Diana. I would say before the NOFO even comes out, that there's actually the grant is actually open. We've got some draft language. So,
Yeah, we're ahead of ourselves.
That's really great. But certainly we were relying on the chief and engaged him to do basically the whole technical side of things, because it's way beyond our knowledge for sure. And so that's a good stab at what he's done there. And so we wanted to just be available to help if there's any other weird questions that come along online as you go along. And I don't know if this is the kind of grant where you can start and stop and go back in, or do you have to do it all at once?
You can.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So maybe tell us a little bit about it. Yeah. You've done this kind of grant before, so maybe just talk to us what it looks like, and how far along you've already gotten with some of this preliminary stuff, and the kinds of things you still need to firm up with Chief Fasoli or whomever.
Right. So it's based out of the FEMA Go website, which you may have other things in town that go under FEMA Go. Could be police, could be DPW, could be any of those types of things. Once the grant opens, we'd have to go in and start the grant, and then it's assigned a number.
Yeah.
In the first part of that, in the last document I sent, it was a check sheet, and that starts to have the DUNS number and all that kind of official stuff.
Okay. Yep.
So those are kind of some of the first things that we start working our way down through, which we have some of them from Ed forward.
Right.
And then the narratives, which you've seen the first draft of, get dropped in the different sections: financial need, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then within each section, there's also questions that get answered, like your run numbers and all those types of technical things that I highlighted again. That Chief Fasoli is going to have to get us the last few run numbers for, how many fires, how many ambulance calls, how many, and they're broken up into federal sections, which he should be familiar with in his report writing, what we call NFIRS, National Fire Reporting Standards. A 100, a 200, a 300, they're all broken out. And a lot of those are all computer read when they go through the process. So the way this...
Oops.
Nobody got hurt on that one, I hope.
Yeah.
The way it works on this grant is it does two things. It is computer reviewed first, and there's certain things that once we get it all set up, we'll look. That's why I'm going to need the password at some point to really go in and make sure the right box is checked, that we put the right categories in things, because you want it to spit through the computer,
right?
And then it gets reviewed by humans.
Okay.
In Washington, there's a round table of fire people, from chiefs to police to a little bit of everything, really, all different organizations. And there's 3 people assigned, and they all read your grant and score it. And then those numbers are combined with a computer number, and then it proceeds to assign it a score in decimals. And then they basically take this top number and start awarding money until they run out of money. So depending on what people are going for and how many people apply, which there's a ton of people that apply, it is a competitive grant. And when you get into the apparatus, it's even more competitive. But I think you're in good position with the tanker, and I think you're in a really good position for your air packs as well. So I think in total it's like 800,000, possible of grant. And I think, what did I say, 30,000 of local or something?
30 or 40,000 maybe local. Yeah. Right. So that just 2 questions on that. So both of these requests come in as under one grant application. It's not 2 separate applications. Okay.
2 sections. Yeah. If you put in for an apparatus, you're allowed to put in for equipment or gear or any of the other things. So under firefighter safety, we'll put in for the air packs, and under the apparatus, we put in for the tanker.
So all in all, that was somewhere around the 800 to 900,000 estimate. Right.
Yeah. And you could get awarded both. You could get awarded none. You could award one or the other. So it's really a mix. I might suggest that in a select board meeting, you acknowledge it, acknowledge that you're ready to commit to the 5% match.
Yeah.
that's just a good thing to have on record.
Sure. Okay.
There are people that, you know, you get some rogue chiefs that go and put in an application for an $800,000 worth of stuff and then say, "Oh, I need 30,000," and the board say, "Sorry," you know.
Yeah.
So it's just good to get everybody on the same page.
So it's a 5% total match for us.
Correct. Yes.
And I'm assuming, okay, we could have that ready, but we actually have to have it in hand when the grant would be awarded, probably, right?
You'd have to have it in hand when you're going to pay. So, if you
that's
have
the culprit.
There we go. if we have, so an apparatus is going to take you 2 years to get.
Okay.
So that could be whatever.
Okay.
It could be something that's pulled from free cash. It could be, you know, the $5,000 or $7,000 for the air packs. Those could possibly be in the performance period of the first year. So probably, let's say we get lucky and get awarded in June or July, whenever they get to it. You might not need it till fall, but you're going to be in the fiscal year. Whether some people take stuff from free cash, some people carry a line item in their budget just to cover this stuff somewhere. That's really how you guys, you know, make your soup.
Yep. Okay, that's a good idea. Yeah. And so the deadline on this, you said, was March 5th. Is that right? I think.
Well, if everything stays the same, it opens January 29th, closes March 8th.
March 8th. Okay. Yeah. All right. Good. Okay.
I like to get them in earlier than later because.
Yeah. No, me too. We've run into too many glitches at the last minute where on a couple of state ones, we were still early. We had a couple of days to go, but the website shut down because every town was trying to put it in and they weren't ready for it, you know. So I definitely do want to take advantage of getting things done as much as possible. And I think we do have I'm pretty sure we've got all the number. I know we've got the Dunn's number and the SAM and all those other kind of numbers from
your budgets. Those are provided. Those will have a spot once you start filling it out. I can drop those in. And I'll go in and drop all that stuff in.
Okay. And I'll check too with Bradley. I don't know how he set it up, you know, in terms of, you know, who's got write access, who's got, you know, edit versus read, and I'll check that out. We can talk about that.
And you want to list me as a grant writer within it.
Yeah. Okay.
He has to do that. That allows me the access, but it also allows you reimbursement should we get the award too.
Yeah.
So
okay.
You can reimburse up to $1,500. So.
Okay. What else was I going to say? Is there any? So I think in the draft it was clear wherever you had like a 0% or something. So that meant that was not a scored question. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the description of the town and the description of the infrastructure you protect are not scored. They just help give the readers a picture of what the department is. Okay. All right. Which is good because like you don't have a lot of infrastructure to protect.
Right.
That's why, but you are on a first automatic aid to Barnes, and with the new fighters coming to Barnes, that's something we want to capitalize on. So especially with this tanker truck would be, you know, they're $18 million a piece or something like that, or $100 million a piece. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and we had a fire last night here in town too. I saw that. Yeah. You've been busy.
Pretty amazing.
Pretty amazing photos on Facebook. Yeah. Over on Moosebrook somewhere. It was a shed fire with a propane tank in it.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
But they saved the house and nobody got injured. So
that's good.
Amazing. Terrible night to be out fighting a fire too. But anyway.
Yeah. It's always when it's cold.
Yeah, exactly. I know. So, so I think where we could probably help out a bit, Russ. I know I mentioned to you that, you know, we've certainly seen the grants where we've got either character limits or word limits or whatever. Diana's our expert at condensing verbiage, verbose people. So we could help out there. And certainly any of the other stuff that we've taken in terms of some background from the town, you know, other documents that we have, we could, you know, put it toward you and you could take a look at what you like that would fit, you know, best what these guys are looking for.
Some areas that are always helpful are what else is going on in town. If you're going to have to pay, now I know you have the public safety, and I think I was guessing at the $10 million, but if you have water projects, sewer projects, anything like that, anything that's competing for the taxpayer money, is where you want to show that, we can't pay for this under our taxes because we got to do all these other things.
Right.
And I know you have some serious commitments between the senior center. I don't know what that number is, but the public safety.
Yeah, senior center is probably around that 10 million. The public safety is going to be closer to 20.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there is, Ed was going to get you some figures. He might not have yet, but he had it on his list to do for you. So, because he had better thoughts about the, I know there's a new section of the pipeline, what do I say? The water main rather going into, going up Route 10. So we've got another section of that coming along. They're getting some grant money for that, but nonetheless.
That doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just about commitment.
Yeah.
And I did reach out to the DPW, asking them what percentage of town has hydrants. I did not. He said he got it, but I haven't heard back from him yet. So I don't know.
Okay.
If you can help me in that area.
Yeah, we can check that out, and I think I can do that from another meeting we had, if nothing else. We talked about that at one point.
Okay.
We'll find that. Sure. Yep. So I think maybe Diana, you can take a look at those couple of the draft, the couple things that were focused on the town thing, and see if there's maybe something from one of these other applications that we've written for other things that might, add to it, or, whatever, if you think there's something there. And we could just send that back and forth, maybe as a paragraph attachment or something in an email that you,
Does Diana have the draft of what I sent?
I do. I have both.
Did you have a
1 and 2? And so we're looking for other town grants that somehow are related to the fire department?
No, no, we'd be looking for other commitments the town has got to spend taxpayer money on big projects. Which is why we need this grant, because we don't have any taxpayer money to buy a tanker.
Because we're paying for a new public safety or a senior center or water mains. So you want to paint the picture that you're broke as best you can.
Yeah, we don't have any money to buy an expensive tanker, because what limited taxpayer money we have after funding the school, et cetera, our limited taxpayer money is already being dipped into for all these other kinds of projects.
So you'll see in the, I always put in on the grants in Massachusetts, when I do one for Massachusetts, the 2.5 override, or Proposition 2.5, and the state minimum school funding, because these could be being read by someone in Texas or somewhere else, and they don't understand Massachusetts, that you only got so much money.
Right. Yeah.
So those are a couple of things you'll see in there that I always put in there.
Yeah. Well, and we can get you those figures too from last year's budget. So that's fine. We can get you some budgetary figures on that. And like I say, Ed was going to get you some estimates on the senior center and public safety and the water project. So I'll let him give you those figures to put in. But I think Diana, just more painting the picture of town too, of, the rural community of Southampton, and, why a tanker would be necessary, and, that kind of thing. I assume, Chief, is what you're talking about. Yeah,
exactly. Yep. Yeah. So you'll see the sections are community description. That's where you would kind of paint the picture of what Southampton is. Then you have the infrastructure, which typically is like power lines, gas lines, all the things that fire departments protect. And then you have the project description, which is either the air packs or the tanker. And then you have the cost. We have cost benefit and statement of effect, which, how are we saving money if we get this tanker? And some of it's related to insurance. Firefighter safety is always part of that. You'll kind of understand that when you read it. And then the financial need is the section that has all the other commitments in it. That here's why we don't have any money.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Right. But if we focus on the background of the town one to start with, and see what we can do there to help out. And we had a very serious fire here, unfortunately, about a year ago.
So that's kind of mentioned in there that escalated to a town meeting with the fire chief having to come before the town and defend the actions and equipment. So you'll see that in the narrative there.
Okay. All right. Okay, well, we'll take a look at least on the background of the town part and see what we can do there. And
Yeah, I mean, feel free to look at all of it. If there's something I'm wrong about, please tell me.
Sure.
And if there's a big hole that something I don't know about, I'm not thinking about, then by all means mention that as well.
Okay. Yep. And then when we get to some version of it, if we need to edit down, some words or some, whatever they require to a level of words, word count, I think we can be of help there too.
They do character count. Yeah.
Oh, even worse.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Diana's been a longtime editor and has all sorts of experience with that stuff. So
Good.
So we can chime in where you need us. So I guess it's fair to say that over the next 2-3 weeks, you want to be pretty much done with it, right?
Yep. Yeah, I would like to, by the end of the month, be ready to pretty much start plugging it in.
Okay. Some of the basic stuff anyway. Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, as long as you can go back and forth. And so you thought the actual award, if everything stays on schedule, the award is sometime in the summertime?
Yeah, they'll typically, so they'll close in March. It takes them a good month to score at least. So now you're into April to May, somewhere in there, and then they start dropping. I thought they said they were going to start announcing. They do them every Friday. They announce, a bunch, and then every Friday they come out with another grouping, and they go through, I believe, 16 weeks, 12 or 16 weeks of announcing.
I see. Award.
So if everything stays on, the way the government's working, who the heck knows? But this should be summer pretty much. Hopefully by June, July, we've heard something.
Yeah, but then you're saying a good 2 years to get the tanker, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, but the air packs could be earlier.
Yeah, I know. Russell just got air packs on this grant, and they're awarded at the end of the year. They had to do some RFPs for some pricing, but they are, I believe, taking delivery within the next month or so. So,
well,
6 months.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just one last question. I'm intrigued by this. I've known it, but I don't think we've encountered it yet. This sort of computer screening of a grant. What's been your experience there? I mean, are there key words that they're looking for that you've got to put in, or what triggers that off? Do you think?
Well, they don't tell you, but there's one of the gentlemen in our group used to work for FEMA in doing it for the government. Mm-hmm. And it changes every year. The problem is they keep moving the target. So as soon as you figure out, they move the target.
Yeah, of course.
But there's some key numbers like run numbers and thresholds and things like that the computer scores, but they never really tell you what they're going to be. So there's a couple of key areas about replacing old and outdated equipment. Instead of saying you want new equipment, there's a couple little things throughout it that we always make sure we check the right boxes on, but we try to give it the best shot we can and make it through the computer. So
on the tanker, so we are on a replacement schedule, right? With the air packs, this would be a replacement.
Yeah, but you're 2 years out. So what do you call it?
2 years late. 2 years
2
late.
Years standards. So you have a 2007 standard. They won't accept anything other than 2007 or older. So you're well within that range. Okay. So that's something like the computer will pick up. If you said I have 2013 air packs, doesn't even take you.
Okay.
But because you're below 2000, it'll do. Now the same thing happens with apparatus. And this is one of the targets they move. Yours is 36 years old. So, for instance, one of the grant meetings I went to, they said they want it to be, it had to be, yours is an 88, so I think it had to be 92 or older, or they wouldn't even consider it. So, if you said in the computer scores it, and it says you had a 1995, the computer's not even going to look at it.
Got it.
So but they keep moving those meters depending on what happens. So for instance, I did portable radios one year, and I didn't get them. I put the exact same grant through the next year, and they're a year older, and I got it.
Interesting. Yeah.
So, you never know.
Yeah. And so in our case, we're actually looking at this thing that we call a tanker that's sitting over at Pequot Road, right? That sort of functions as a tanker, but isn't really a tanker or something.
Something like that. They're using it as one. We're going to call it one.
Okay. Yeah, it was always kind of confusing as to what is that thing called, really? So.
Yeah, well, it was one of their old engines, but they got rid of all their old tankers,
right.
Which some of the older tankers they had would have been a better sell, but
yeah, probably, yeah.
It is what it is at this point.
So. Sure, yeah. Some of those ended up getting sent back to the government or wherever we got them at some point in time. I forget.
Yeah,
long stories, but anyway, yeah, okay, good. All right, well, thanks, Chief. I just wanted to sort of have a chance to talk about it a little bit more clearly, and have you meet at least Diana, and Kate will catch in with her later too. But
Diane, do you have any questions or?
No, I haven't had time to go over it thoroughly, but probably it will help if Chris is most versed in the town budget thing. So she just gives me like bullet points and then I can weave a narrative around that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. And did you put that in a Google Doc, Russ? I forget.
It was a Word doc.
Word doc. Okay. That's fine. Yeah. I think we actually do pretty well in Word. I hate Google Docs myself.
Oh, thank God. I am the same. I don't even know where I am.
I know it's good for sharing, but it's like, oh my God, I spend more time pulling my hair out with Google Docs. So I think we're fine just, sharing email attachments or comments, paragraph in an email text or whatever. So
that works for me. So.
Okay, perfect. Great. Okay, well, I think that's it. Thank you for coming on. Much appreciated.
All right. I'm surprised you're not at the MMA conference this week.
Well, we haven't gotten there yet. I don't know. Nobody's gone in my 5 years on the board. I'm not sure why we don't, but yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So
look at the money you're saving.
I know exactly. Here we go.
All right. We'll see.
All right. Thanks, Russ.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Okay. So, Diana, I think just one last thing maybe would be to approve our last set of minutes since there's two of us here.
Okay. All right.
If I can find them. Let me see if I can find them. Oh, I do. Gosh, magic. Yeah, these are the ones. Kate had sent them around. I made just a couple small changes on them, but nothing nothing major here. What was here? I forgot what I changed. Oh, I think it was something down here. It was awarded to the MCOA or something like that. So it was actually awarded to us, it was from the MCOA to us, but yeah. That was just one thing. And then this was just some updated stuff here. This
one
is what
thing I've been thinking about, I have to write the progress report for the Mass Trails Manhan Meadows Phase 2 thing. It's due March 15th. And we have made no progress. So I don't know if it's better just to send that in right now or to wait till after they've submitted the current Mass Trails one. It's not good news, and I don't expect. I'm discouraged about that.
Yeah. Is this for the suspension bridge type thing, or whatever the bridge is?
Just the bridge, the
bridge,
bridge. We did get the Chapter 91 license, but that's the only progress since the last time I submitted it. And
so if you have no comments on this minutes, we'll approve these. Yeah.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of December.
Okay, I will second that. And all in favor? Aye.
Yay.
Yay. Okay. All right. Good. So I'll stop sharing that. Okay.
Oh, and also some good news. I just glanced at that Johanna said she and the children's librarian are working on a master plan.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they could be eligible to apply for MBLC grants, the Board of Library Commissioners, once they get that. So
that's good. Okay.
Yeah.
And unfortunately they didn't get the cultural council grant, but so be it.
But I'm sure they're still hoping for one from them for the summer reading. So maybe
exactly. Yeah. So they didn't want to, cut their trail there, but okay. Sounds good. All right, good. I'm gonna just stop this at the moment here.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.